Welcome to Atlanta Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Sagittarius for the month of October. Welcome, Sag. How are you? Interesting month, September. We're now the 22nd of September, so we're in Libra, or well, we're on the cusp. Virgo to Libra. Libra being air, so lots of stuff going on with Libra in the time of Libra. Lots of air, lots of communications, lots of stuff. Don't forget there's lots of other bigger stuff than that, but we'll see what comes up. Okay, the energy is the Ace of Coins. That's fantastic actually, Sag. New beginnings, very grounded card too. So I'm just thinking that energy as the energy around you is lots of things very grounded, and just remind yourself to be grounded this next month coming. But new beginnings. Money seems not to be a problem, so don't get in your head about that. Just remain grounded. But we'll find out why and what's happening now. This is where you are right now. Temperance, divine time, Sag. Things look like they're really balanced up. And that's what temperance talks about. It talks about balancing your life to such a point that you feel like you're stable, you're grounded. But divine time also has that overreaching meaning of what happens is meant to happen. So things all have a time and a place to happen in. They don't happen just because we want them to. The universe rules, so we're going with that. So this is where you are, and interestingly enough, Temperance is the card of Sagittarians. So it looks really good, balanced, and divine time. Let's see what's brought that on. Oh, the Queen of Wands, so your Queen, Fire Queen. Creativity, positivity, moving forward. So if you've been hoping, Sagittarius, because I'm one of your lot, so if you've been hoping for something, you want to get something off the ground, you've been waiting and waiting, but there just hasn't been the time, or it just hasn't felt right to begin that. This Queen of Wands sort of says more or less, your Queen, Sagittarian's Queen, it's time for things to start moving, and especially influencing the whole deck. And over the top of Temperance, it looks really good, like time to get things moving. Your time is now, so get things happening. All those projects, more or less, that you've left on hold because it just didn't feel right, now's the time. Let's look at the background to see what we get there, what's been going on behind the scenes and still has effect. Justice, so karma, and this is the card for Libra. So once again, waiting for that almighty balance, that tricky balance, Sag, where things just have to be right. It just has to be right. Karmic, very karmic. So now is the time, now. So with justice sitting there, karmic rewards come. And maybe, you know, in the last couple of months you've been paying off a few karmic debts here and there. And for my own personal things, I know I've paid off a lot of debts this last couple of months. Reaching back years ago, you know, that sort of come around again. So that's that karma, and that's that sort of leveling out of things, paying things back, being in the red rather than the black rather than the red, you know, that sort of thing. But especially with karma. So we've got two big cards already, Sag, that are sort of saying, look, you paid off a lot of your karmic debt, you're in a good place, now's the time to sort of move forward with these things that you want to. It's the right time. And it might even be a relationship that you haven't been in one, but now it's time to be open to one. All those sorts of energies and aspects of our lives. Let's look at recent influences. The Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is having a good foundation. It's growth, it's expansion. And funnily enough, talking about relationships, here's this man here, this male figure, and I always see him as a man that's in your life, or has been in your life, or was in your life, but he's way away now. He's not around, he's sort of far away, but it's sort of almost like there's still karmic energy between you if it's a relationship sort of story. Now, of course, this is not going to apply to every one of the Sagittarian subscribers, but it's just that kind of energy. But nevertheless, underlying in a more general fashion, it talks about you're in a good place to grow, move forward. Once again, it's wand, so fire energy, things are moving, action is happening. There's no stagnation. Okay, let's see the lesson you'll be learning. Wow, the Ten of Cups. So there, look, I'm getting more relationship sort of style of things here coming through. So, you know, this Ten of Cups was perhaps a marriage or a union in the past, maybe, whatever resonates with you. But yeah, there was always, it's just like there was only one dimension of it that was dealt with, but the deep, there's a lot of depth in there. And I guess recently you may well have been trawling over those aspects of that relationship and looking at it in with a different set of eyes than you did before. If that makes sense. I know if this resonates, it'll resonate. So really tearing down the facades of what was and looking at our connection with people. Because often the Ten of Cups can be, oh, they're such a happy family, this blah, 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 and you know, you sort of think, well, you know, everyone's got their own issues, so there is something behind the facade. So that's that card, and that's the lesson. Always look behind the facade, always sort of put everything into perspective in terms of we've all got our stuff, we're all learning our lessons. So this is the one that you'll be learning about, you know, relationships and how everyone yearns for that perfect balance in a relationship, but it's quite difficult to achieve. Near future, and then we have to step back a bit in the sort of end of the first week of Libra, stepping back a bit and just, you know, being a spectator rather than a participator, observing the scene, seeing, thinking, meditating almost on, you know, because these are pretty heavy duty cards, as you can see, especially with the karmic justice card sitting on the top there. It's a time of that reflection over particularly personal relationship issues, especially for Sagittarians, because they're more, you know, they're philosophical about life, and they're far-seeing. They're always looking out into the world. They're very international types, so they're not really, they like their freedom. But then there's always those that have been, you know, there is attachments that still need to be sort of sorted, so to speak, to move on. So, you know, if you're feeling a bit sort of introspective, beginning of the Libra time, well, just go with that and just know it's just a time for contemplation and just watching, observing what's going on. Right, let us see what is happening that you're not realising. The Magician, potential versus trickery. It's like everything in life, isn't it? When the Magician comes along, he's the spirit messenger. So what I'm getting from that is, yeah, well, this is all exactly how it should be. So whatever's been happening in your life, Sag, this last couple of months, has all accumulated in this moment, actually. So it's like, yeah, there was no trickery about it, really. It was just meant to happen. You were meant to be exactly where you are as we speak. But lots of potential there to move on. And with his trickery, the Magician can sort of fool you into thinking, oh, well, this is, you know, relationships particularly. it looks all great in the first 6 weeks of infatuation, but then we see the real, you know, and then things start to get a bit routine-like. So, yeah, it's just that keeping that balance between potential and fooling yourself, if you like. How others see you. Oh, the devil. Being a bit stuck. Now, this stuck can be related to the universe too. And see, once again, in terms, especially in terms of relationship, looking at those relationships, I'm thinking more in the past, those really big karmic relationships we've all had. That person from long ago that really still does resonate today. Where we still feel like we're still on that wheel, I guess, and feeling a bit stuck with it, feeling like you can't move on from it because it was that karmic that it stopped you in your tracks, and it still does to this day. You still carry that with you. So I'm getting this is more the universe and your spirit messengers saying yes, but you still need to release yourself from that stuckness. And that's what all this is about. It's just about we're humans, we're learning to be humans, but we are indeed spirit, learning to be human. So that's where the devil comes in, and we can get sucked into all those fabulous things in life that we know are too good, and too much of a good thing, you know, can sometimes tip you into addictions and that kind of stuff. But I always remind myself, you're a human being. You have to deal with it. But we'll put a clarifier on that, because often people see the devil and they completely freak out. But to me, it's just that really human card. We're all human. We're all capable of doing things we shouldn't that get us into a bit of a pattern. Positive feelings, Sag. The hanging man, going with the flow, sacrifice. Just hanging upside down for a bit, not struggling with the status quo, like letting things just be as they are. This is actually my sort of card for the public health issue, that's environment that we have at the moment. There's a lot of people, you know, in all over the world that are sort of really under tight restriction and having to just go with the flow, because we're trying to sort of prevent and keep our public health well rather than susceptible. So go with the flow. With whatever it is, whatever emotions come up, Sag, just deal with them. And they can be really difficult too, and they can be that yearning as well, where you just wish it to be different to what it is. But just go with the flow and know that that's the best thing to do for this month. Just hang upside down for a bit. It's not so bad to look at the world from another perspective. So the final outcome for October, so then by the end of October, the third week of October, we're moving into Scorpio, so that'll be another challenging energy. So I'm guessing this Libra season is all about just going with the flow. The final outcome is Knight of Swords, so expect the unexpected, something abruptly coming into your life very quickly. It's almost a shock. It's like, where did that come from? That came out of nowhere. All those little phrases come to mind with him. But it can be quite, you know, it can really sort of put a cat in the pigeon coop, you know, whatever, or cat in the chicken coop. So it really does disrupt this energy of the Knight of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to put two clarifiers down, because I think this Knight of Swords and this Devil. And remember, the overall theme for the month is stay grounded. Okay, one on the Devil, that's how others see us, and one on the Knight of Swords, the outcome. Okay, so underneath the Devil, under the surface of the Devil, which is how others are perceiving us, the Eight of Swords, so take back your personal power. Stop being trapped by old patterns. Yeah, of course, we always remember our favourite relationship or someone that really struck a chord and they came into our lives, and yeah, we never quite met anyone like them again, but then they went out for whatever reasons, just karmic or otherwise. Take your power back and go, yeah, but I'm so glad that I met that person and they made all these positive things out of it. So free yourself from that. You can any time you want, but you just... Humanity creates us to stick to what we know rather than break free of the chain. So very interesting there. So it's all about you just forgiving yourself, still loving that person or that relationship, staying with it and moving forward. Let's see what's underneath the Knight of Swords. And we have the Eight of Coins, so the maturity card. And really, you know, just sort of suddenly one day that comes out of nowhere that you think, yes, I'm capable, I feel like I've moved on, I feel good about it, I feel mature about it, I'm ready to go on and do whatever I want to do, and it's given me a lot of great energy, which is the Eight of Pentacles, which is like the Master's Apprentice. So it's almost like you've really overcome a lifelong lesson that, you know, especially with relationships, that's where we get tested the most, isn't it, in life? Fabulous, Sag. So you're going to come through it well, but also healed and cleansed, I think, is the words that we want to describe, you know, just coming to a good place about something really karmic in your life. Okay, let's see what your Buddha reading card message is. Detachment, there you go. Manifest plainness, embrace simplicity, reduce selfishness and have few desires. When you are able to identify the natural tendency of the wanting mind for more, you will not be caught up in negative emotions when they are unfulfilled. You can then learn how to detach from the outcome and hold the pure intention of enjoying the process of whatever you are doing in the now. Welcome each day as new and exciting, and let unimaginable opportunities flow freely into your life. That is a great way to finish, Sag. Have a wonderful month. I know it's been a long reading. Thanks for listening once again, and we'll see you soon.